Okay, so I mentioned to you in the group chat, and some of you might have already gotten wind of the change. We need to make big changes. One is because when we were planning this thing, dollar was only at 52 to 152 pesos to $1. Now it has ballooned to 58 to 1 peso, and there is a threat that it will go all the way up to 60. And when you buy Philippine Airlines ticket, their conversion is not 58 is to 1. Their conversion right now is around 61 plus to 1 dollar. And the ticket of John Bol U is $7,500. That's only New York, Manila, and that doesn't count yet Pittsburgh to New York. And then we need to pay him for his professional fee in dollars. All in all, we were looking at, whoa, 1.5 million, not counting all the other expenses of hotel, food, domestic flights, the venue rentals, um, lights and sound rentals, etc. So uh, that's a lot of tickets to sell, and then made even more complicated by some people, old ones especially, complaining already about why do we need to sell tickets? Why are we being required to sell tickets just to be able to, etc. The past 2 years, at least, the only thing they need to do was to solicit for donations. And 80% of whatever they solicit goes back anyway to the school. So it was not very difficult. Pero ngayon, with a original budget of 1.7, now ballooning to 2 point plus something million, parang things have become far more difficult. And then there are some difficulties inside PAREF. And so I was about to say, I give up, I quit. Uh, sorry, PAREF, pero I have to go to the US in October and I have to go back to Sri Lanka for 1 month in November. Maybe somebody else needs to do this job. But before I got to do that, I scheduled a meeting with a friend weeks ago, um, before I left for Sri Lanka. And then he said, okay, let's meet when you come back. He is the regional Asia Pacific manager of EWTN, for the whole of Asia Pacific. No? And when we had coffee yesterday, I unloaded myself and told him my quandary about this JCL. And lo and behold, he gave a, well, not that he gave it as a solution. He just told me that that is similar to the problem I have because I am in charge of organizing the FABC 50th General Conference, which CBCP asked us to pray for every day. That's the Federation of Asian Bishops Conference that will happen, supposed to be in Thailand from October 12 to 28. A gathering of all the bishops plus their mga staff in Thailand, and this is the 50th one. And they have a problem. There are many bishops who cannot travel because of COVID restrictions from their country or to other countries. And EWTN volunteered, so sige, let's help you. We have a platform that we designed for online conferences, but not just any kind of platform. This is not Zoom, this is not YouTube, this is not Facebook. It's a specially designed platform where when you register, you get an avatar, and your avatar will, in the screen, walk inside the hall, and you can interact with the other people inside the hall. You will know exactly who they are because they registered and they have to give themselves a name. And then there are booths or rooms where you can enter and interact with the people there. Um, So it gives you a feel of an actual conference. He was not offering it as a solution to my problem, but I said, maybe this is why we need to meet. And lo and behold, he said, normally they charge $30,000 for the use of the platform. But because we're friends, he said, I'm giving it to you for free. You can use EWTN if you don't charge tickets. Once you charge tickets, then you cannot use EWTN logo. You can only say powered by EWTN because it's against the principles of Mother Angelica, the founderess of EWTN. It should not get money from people. And so, discussing with him, offering EWTN, it's suddenly now, especially because of the money aspect, the dollar problem, and the complaints of people about selling tickets, EWTN is now coming in as co-presenter. JCL 2022 is Steubenville, PAREF, and EWTN Global Catholic Network project, with EWTN simply providing the platform, Steubenville providing the speakers, and then PAREF making all these things happen. John Beaulieu will still be the speaker, but this time we will not have to fly him in. That spares us of $7,500, which is already around half a million pesos equivalent. The theme continues to be the same. We still carry the prestigious um, Steubenville conferences logo. This time, even EWTN, which is an even bigger thing than Steubenville, is our partner. As I said, they are the ones also doing the 50th FABC conference. This is him, the regional manager for Asia Pacific region of EWTN, who joined EWTN because of Mother Angelica herself. He used to earn $100,000 a month in the US in a bank. And then he met Mother Angelica. And then Mother Angelica asked him, Edwin, that's it? That's what you want to do for the rest of your life? Just making money? That simple question moved him to think about, what am I doing with my life? So the next day, he went back to Mother Angelica and said, I'm willing to leave my job and do EWT and work. So this was around 20 years ago. So ever since that time, no more $100,000 a month job, and he has been doing EWT and work. And I met him in 2011. He was the 2009. He was the very first ever Catalyst guest speaker that we invited to go to. Now, even more exciting with this online platform is the president of EWTN. His name is Michael Warsaw. Can actually give an opening remarks to welcome people to the conference organized by PAREF in cooperation with Steubenville, and he is speaking as EWTN president. Because we are going to do it online, the president of Steubenville, Franciscan University of Steubenville, Father Dave Pavonka, one of the most powerful speakers in Steubenville, can give remarks before one of the talks. And even more exciting is John Beaulieu can possibly ask Scott Hahn, who is a co-faculty member in Steubenville, to address the parents for some remarks. In other words, okay, I know we have been fixed in the 15,000, two venues, two cities, massive gatherings, but the other um, objection I received from, I have to say it, from Cebu. Somebody from Cebu wrote Paref and said, "What are you going to do regarding COVID protocols? What if somebody catches COVID in the gathering of 4,000 students and 4,000 adults?" I mean, um, the pe- the person started giving all sorts of what if, what will Paref do? All those contributed to, okay, you're so obsessed with COVID, let's shut it down. Let's end it that way. I mean, let's end it there and just instead go for online. But Dr. Nido is going to send out a memo to the Mancoms to tell them about this new change and then to tell them, however, we encourage you, Mancoms, to organize live masses because now we're just looking at one day. Hindi na, no need for Manilalag and Cebulag because everybody will be in the same virtual conference hall wherever you are following it from. Iloilo, Cebu, Manila, all inside the same virtual hall. So no need for 2 days. We just need one day, December 8th, and it's a holiday of obligation and it's a national holiday, no school, no work. But because we're going to ask you to do this on a holiday, PAREF will declare December 9 holiday, no school, no work, to compensate for December 8 when we are going to ask you to attend official activities. So, the memo of Dr. Nidoy will tell Mancoms, can you organize masses in your respective schools? The more families you can get to invite, Paref and non-Paref families, the better, so that we do apostolate. I mean, we make people satisfy the holiday of obligation. Now, if your school, this is part of the memo, if your school has the capacity to set up a laptop in your auditorium where the platform of EWTN can be beamed in a giant screen, then go ahead and do it as like a hybrid. You're in a conference in person while attending the conference virtually to do this EWTN platform. Those who cannot come, they can follow at home. They will be given the link, they can register, they get their avatar, and they see themselves entering the platform, the conference hall, and they can interact with you there um, also following the talk. And then let's try to approximate the original plan of Manila Leg, where there will be a talk exclusively for students, and then a break or some other activities that you might want to initiate. And then the next one, when John will talk, is at 2 p.m., this time for teachers, following again, or 2:30. One of the in between activities can be a Holy Rosary because it's December 8th, it's the Feast of Our Lady, so makes a lot of sense. Or if your school can even do a solemn benediction in the auditorium while waiting for the 2:30 talk, go ahead. We leave it to you to decide what you think you can do. And then the educators talk happens at 3, and then the parents talk in the evening. The in-betweens, it's up to you what you want to do with them, but the the virtual hall is open the whole day. And the virtual hall has huddle rooms. Each school can be given a room, and you can enter any of those rooms and interact with the people there, including sponsors can be given a room and they can come up with their own gimmicks, virtual room inside that virtual conference hall. And they can come up with gimmicks of visit our booth and we have raffles, win prizes when you visit our booth, things like that. No? So there's a bit of sense of a feel of being in a conference, but complying with all these restrictions of COVID and travel and expenses, etc., doing away with all those things. And then we have Father Carlos Estrada, who is now the head of the Paref chaplaincy, and then the new regional vicar of Opus Dei, um, delivering a message to close the whole thing. That's the plan. That's the compromise we had to come up with because of the suddenly our hands are tied, our pockets are tied because of this crisis in peso exchange rates, the travel expenses, the COVID restrictions still in place. Personally, it's not the COVID restrictions, it's the fear of some people. Maybe it's real because last week I had to give a talk to a group of professionals. Half of them were positive. So it's still in the air, it's still there, it's still happening. And the concern of some people is, paano kung may nagka-COVID sa participants nyo? Babayaran nyo ba yung kanyang gamot? Yung kanyang, are you going to to be held responsible for it? Etc. I know this change is sudden. As I gave you the timeline, I met with the EWTN guy yesterday afternoon. I drafted the revised proposal last night. The approval of the president came at midnight because he's in the US. The approval of the rest of the PAREF board came this morning. We had a meeting at 5:30 to hear from me exactly anyway the same things that I wrote in the proposal paper, and effectively just approved everything that I wrote there, except the in my original plan, we will really ask the schools to have on-site activities starting with a mass. The PAREF people said we cannot require them because not everyone has the capacity to accommodate many people in an auditorium. Northfield does not have an auditorium, does not even have a chapel. Um, some like Woodrose may not be able to accommodate even more than, I don't know, more than 500. So parang very limited. Okay, so the decision is, okay, it's not a requirement. We leave it to the schools. If you want to set up your own in your respective school, go ahead. Uh, Even opening possibilities to Rose Hill, Northfield, you want to rent a venue where you can accommodate all the families together, go ahead. But it's yours. I mean, it's your work. Paref is not going to do it anymore for you. Um, it's up to you to determine what you think you can do related to the conference. It's possible a school will not hold any uh, on-site events and just participate in the whole day online in the virtual conference room. With that, the budget right now, originally I proposed was down to 450,000. But the EWTN guy again talked to me today. No, Mr. Rentoy, remove the $2,000 for EWTN. I'm going to give it for free. You just have to pay for bandwidth, which even Gabi Gana can get it from his allowance. I mean, it's so small, you don't even realize you paid EWTN for the bandwidth. Therefore, the budget right now is down to around 300,000. A friend of mine gave me 200,000 and told me, I believe in the project. To hell with the people who are making life difficult for you. Here's 200,000. So we're down to, we just need, the schools just need to raise around 100,000 to make this happen. But we can still reach 30,000, 40,000, or even 50,000 because the virtual hall can accommodate practically limitless participants who will register. and get their avatar. Or a hall can register as one group, and that's 500 participants. They're following it, and they're just one avatar walking around there in the hall. That's the situation. That's the solution for now. That's the revised plan. Now I go back to the students and say, sorry, it didn't work out as we were planning for a long time. Um, Sorry for the short time that suddenly we need to bring about these changes, but nobody expected this kind of crisis happening at this point. Okay, sorry, I talked for too long, but the floor is open for questions and comments and suggestions and recommendations or ideas.
So now we'll open the floor for any possible concerns with the with the new setup or any comments on what we have. But I think one comment here that we can ask now is generally with now admissions, what would this imply? Example for the registration team. So will EWTN have to will they have their own registration forms, sir, for them to handle, or would the committee need to make one?
We still need to make one because when you enter the EWTN is going to give us a portal where people will register, but it will be connected to the PAREF registration. Um, I will get to know on Tuesday because on Tuesday, the regional director, is going to meet with us to give us a walkthrough of the whole platform so that we understand it better. Well, having said that, maybe the registration might want to join us with Gabby if you are free. It's Tuesday at 2 p.m. Via Zoom, and I can send you the link for that meeting. Of course,
Um,
the how do you call this? What makes it simpler is no more uploading of proof of payment, no more collection of fees, no more of these payment channels and things like that. It's all just simply registering. We need to know who you are, what school you come from, whatever other information we want to get from the participants, those who are registering.
Thank you very much, Sir Man. So, guys, please feel free to mention your comments, any comments that you might have, or any suggestions, or any clarifications now on the matter. I think personally, this is it's both good and bad. It's good. It's bad in the sense that we won't anymore be having the conference face to face physically in Manila and Cebu. So if you guys were excited to gather 15,000 people for JCL, make such a big project possible, some of you might feel bad or that you won't anymore even go to Cebu. But the positive here is because it's online, there's less work to do for us. So it leaves us more space to plan pre-conference events, programs that we may want to do to help build up the conference. And at the same time, with EWTN in the mix, it might also help us spread the conference through more people, a greater magnitude in the online setup, not physically. So, uh, yeah, it has its pros, it has its own cons, but this also will have implications regarding the committees. So, example, logistics from Rose Hill might not anymore have to work on anything, no, uh, with productions or with the venue, since it will be online. Each school would maybe have their own teams. With finances, if we now just need 100,000, the schools will be tasked to raise probably 100,000, which is definitely doable if you divide it with the 7 schools in Parif. So it's not too hard. Or we could even ask another parent sponsor. So finances would also be good. So right now it's really just marketing programs and helping with whatever resources we need. So sir, would you like to maybe say a few more words or maybe possible questions Parif had that you could clarify now?
Um, we are still in the process of finalizing the centralized part of the show. I mean, while somebody will be speaking from Steubenville, and then from Alabama, the president of EWTN, the MC, the MCs, the hosts, and that's you. I mean, your team will produce the MCs. Will they run it all from the Southridge Auditorium or from the Woodrose Auditorium or from wherever? In other words, those things are still up for us, for this group to settle. And imagine the conference hall open the whole day. You cannot have really just two MCs running the whole day. That's going to be very tiring. You might need to have two MCs facilitating the student session, another two facilitating the educator session, and then another two, or perhaps even looking for a couple or parents to run the one for the parents. Um, but that still needs to be effectively, that's what we need to pass on to the production, to we had that, diba? A committee that's in charge of the show, the program itself.
Yes, sir.
Um,
So programs, then
yes,
logistics and production issue.
right. MCs taking turns, and then what was brought up in the meeting this evening was, since there are many breaks in between, can the students come up with a panel discussion somewhere in the middle instead of a full-time break na talagang we turn off the platform, nothing happening? Or can we be running videos of PAREF the whole time, and anybody can just come in or leave, like you would when you're in a full day conference. You go out to take your lunch and to take your meals, but there is something happening in the hall, um, which again can just be videos, can just be Steubenville conferences videos, or actual um, discussion of students panel, educators panel, etc. Pero hindi pumasok yung educators panel sa discussion or the parents panel. It's really just the students panel discussion that they mentioned, because that turned out to be the highlight of JCL1 and JCL2. The students discussing, exchanging ideas and talking, because it highlighted the kind of formation that the students are receiving in the PAREF school. So they thought it was the best thing that happened in the past JCLs. So somebody again brought that up today at 5:30 in the 5:30 meeting. If that is doable, um, etc. So the production.
Guys, the floor is open, so please feel free to ask any questions or clarifications. Really, since well, if this is a student initiative, we really need to hear from all students now on how they feel about it, and at the same time, any suggestions to well help the conference in general. So, uh, if no one is going to present themselves, I think I'll be forced to call one person. So for any comments. So Hans, since you're the marketing head, I'm sorry to put you on the floor, but yeah, any thoughts? Thank you.
Yeah, as we have discussed a while ago with Gabby, since we had a meeting earlier, we were talking about the biggest problem, I guess, for marketing is how we would make this JCL different, as what Bachi has also said, and how we would make this as interactive as possible, since everything would be done online. And I think as PARF students, we have that resiliency in ourselves naman, so I think we can adapt to these changes. But yeah, we really have to do more things for this JCL to be more exciting and fun, since it will be done online. For the question, this isn't a personal question, but someone asks her if we should still, or we can still ask for sponsors. We can solicit for sponsors.
Definitely. And the sponsorship you are able to get stays to be 80-20 arrangement. 80% goes to the school, 20% goes to PAREF for whatever solicitation you're able to get. Now, if it is solicited by the students, the agreement is um, 60% of that goes to the 60% of the 80% goes to the student council fund, and then the rest to the school. Okay, so dalawang divisions yun, ano? Whatever you solicit, only 20% goes to PAREF, 80% goes to the school. Solicited by the teachers and the admin, the whole thing goes to the school. Solicited by the students, 60% of that 80% goes to the student council fund. So that thing is still in place. And what disappears now is sponsoring tickets for public school teachers and students, which originally was in the solicitation letter. That and as I mentioned last time, some people feel um, better giving money, knowing that it will benefit public schools, students, and teachers, rather than simply benefiting PAREF schools. I mean, really, there are people who are like that. They think they'd rather give their money to the really poor, I mean, for the benefit of the poor.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Perry. So now with that being said, so I think it's also a perfect question since if we really want to make this conference different, we really have to also rely on the pre-build up to the conference. So example programs we can do, maybe a podcast, a series, no, on JCL or something related now to the conference. So is it also possible if we can maybe add certain, well, add some funds to the budget that could help no with these added programs now into the mix for the pre-conference events.
Yeah, for as long as we tell PAREF ahead that we will need certain budget for specific things that you want to do, then okay, they will either pay that to us or that they will allow us to solicit sponsorships for that, or that they have to input it in the general budget of the JCL. But we need to tell them ahead of time, because right now they're going to function on the basis that this is it. This is only the only one that we will be spending on. Um, yeah, because as I said, we are now leaving it to each school to determine if are you capable of having your own on-site, go ahead, but at your own expense. Pero if you want to sell tickets for that, not registering to the EWTN platform, but registering to your school for attending the online on-site um, activity in your auditorium, then go ahead. You can do that as well. And you want to sell tickets for that, for your auditorium event, go ahead. It's up to you. All the money you collect there is yours. That will not end up in PAREF because that's your initiative. So that's the situation right now. I told Dr. Nidoy, I hope naman na some schools will take the leap of faith of organizing on-site para hindi purely online. Kasi really, it's still different when you have people gathered in an auditorium listening to a speaker all together as a group. It's still an experience. It's still a good thing. Yeah. So that's why sabi ni Dr. Nidoy, yeah, yeah, we're going to give, highly encourage them, especially those who have the capacity, because they have an auditorium, because they have the capacity. And besides, anyway, we're giving them free day on December 9. So all the work that needs to be put in December 8, para bang babayaran naman ng holiday, ng free day after the conference.
Thank you, sir. So well, if anyone has questions, well, please don't be shy. Feel free to ask. So no one. So I think we're all good, sir. So
Cisco, you're
thank
not
you.
disappointed? I mean, I'm hoping to hear these disappointed voices. Ganyan, yung parang bakit ganon? Like Gabby would unhesitatingly. That's what I like about Gabby. Doesn't he's not plastic. He doesn't have to put on whatever he says, what he thinks has to be said. By the way, he's going to be our future president in the Philippines. We will not have problems with dollar
I
exchange
think that's
rate.
a big assumption, sir. But
And everyone, I need to see everybody there in the how do you call that, the installation, the oath taking as president of the
I
Republic
think
of the Philippines.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves here. We have to focus on
Okay,
JCL. So
anything else?
that's the priority.
Anyone else? Anything else? Sorry, this is recorded. Mapapanood ni Dr. Nidoy. Okay. Hi, Dr. Nidoy. Ikaw kasi. Sorry. So anything else? I mean, I will understand if some of you are suddenly disappointed, but this is not going to stop us from Hans. We're looking forward to being able to fly to Iloilo, the student leaders, as well as flying to Cebu. Um, um, no one's stopping us from organizing Future Leaders Summit in Cebu or in Iloilo in the coming months. Okay. Anything else? Sorry, Gabby. It's sabi ko I will try to keep it to 45 minutes. But
No problem, sir.
so no
I
more.
think yes, I think if there's no more, we can then. So thank you again very much, Sir Gantoy, for the update. So
Are we
well,
ready for
we'll pray for
tomorrow?
the best.
Are we ready for tomorrow?
Hans, I think that's a question for marketing, really, for the perfect for you. So,
Yeah. But
I
yeah.
guess we are, sir.
Okay. Now we need to get everybody sharing the live stream, no? I suppose you've instructed everybody. The live stream of tomorrow's event should be shared in all the PAREF schools' Facebook pages and channels. And we ourselves, our own personal accounts, we can use to share the, the live stream to reach as many people as we possibly can.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay,
yeah, we'll also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, be posting a follow-up post tomorrow. So we'll be reusing Hans's post, which wasn't allowed to be posted for the announcement. So there'll be a follow-up post, and all student council pages should be able to share the JCL main post for the conference and the live stream also.
okay, great. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Sleep well, sleep tight, and we continue praying for the fruits of this JCL. Okay, we'll end the meeting. I'll close the
Thank you,
room in.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
everyone.
Everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Bye. Night.
God bless, guys.
Sir,
Bye.
sweet dreams.